All right, Outrunners, welcome back. It is a happy Halloween, terrific Thursday today, the final trading day of October. Ooh, spooky, 'cause we are seeing the market trade down. Right now, the SPY is down about 1.5%. Nice action here today. Currently, well, we did gap down about 0.75% there, and you can see we traded down roughly 0.75% from open. So that's about how it's going today. Yes, we did get other tech earnings yesterday after the bell, so we can take a look at that. As far as like overnight trading action, it's kind of how it went. We kind of just steadily traded down through the hours after we closed yesterday, and then a little bit of a lower open there in the early morning SPY. If we look at the futures, kind of what the futures did overnight, it's dropped basically steadily throughout the night. So that's kind of how things went overnight. But trying to see a little bit of some strength there, but we kind of got through some daily levels there. As far as some, the weekly jobs data that we got this morning, we did get initial jobless claims, came in at 216K. Okay. Forecast is calling for 230K, and prior was 228K. So yeah, a little bit, a pretty good drop there for initial jobless claims. All right. Core PCE year over year 2.7%, which was in line with prior. A 2.7% forecast is calling for a little bit of a drop at 2.6%, but we didn't get that. PCE top line 2.1%, which is in line with forecast at 2.1%. Prior was at 2.3%, so a little bit of a reduction there, and that's how it kind of came in there. As far as the Qs, Qs getting hit pretty good, down a little bit over 2%, 2.2%, and IWM down about 1.3%, trading lower. DIA, nice little gap down. Tried to go sideways, but yeah, here were the past 45 minutes, trading lower, down 1% there. RSP, nice gap down. It is trading lower now as well, down currently 0.9%. Okay, as far as how it looked in a daily, kind of talked about this yesterday on the RSP. If we kind of sold back down to that lower end of the day, probably wouldn't be a bad time to take that bearish, just because of how really awful that upper wick would look yesterday with that gap down, trade higher, and we rolled back over. It just wouldn't look great, and then you get the follow through today, boom, drop down to the 50 EMA. As far as like an intraday trade, I wouldn't want to take it, my personal opinion, anymore. I mean, you're sitting right on top of the 50 EMA. As far as where are the long terms, yeah, we got a pretty good pocket in here to go down to that 100 moving average. So if we get to that 50, if we get a close below that 50, or some consolidation here over the next few trading days, you can maybe possibly look for that roll down to that 100 moving average. Wouldn't be a bad way to go. As far as the DIA getting through that 50 EMA today on a gap down. All right, so yeah, probably looking. Well, we got some highs back from late August that we're gonna get pretty close to, and maybe even July. So we'll probably be coming into that area around 216 to 214, and then lower. IWM. Let's see, IWM. Well, IWM just sold right through a lot of things, right through a lot today. It didn't gap as much, but I mean, we're seeing the intraday selling come through in the IWM. Sitting right now on the top of that 50 EMA. Right now, I wouldn't want to do anything with it. Probably wait for either a clearly breakdown of probably where we're at now in that 50 EMA, or maybe some sideways consolidation, kind of like on the RSP. The Qs, what's really kind of interesting here on the Qs is one, I mean, we got to hit a pretty good gap down, but we're also seeing some pretty good intraday selling. Kind of looks like a island reversal between last Friday and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. Nice little island reversal. It's not like the most perfect looking island reversal ever. mostly because it overlaps with some previous trading back in earlier in October. But yeah, nice little island reversal looking thing with a gap up last Friday, and then we gap down below the cluster here. So Q's just recently took out this little low from October 23rd, and we got the 50 EMA pretty close below that. I wouldn't want to be looking to be bearish right now on an intraday perspective. Not much room lower. You'd want to see some kind of consolidation, and with how much the Qs have kind of been lagging behind here over the past couple of months, we don't have much separation between that 50 EMA and that 100 either. So I would definitely want to see some kind of bounce if you're interested in the bearish trade, some kind of bounce, and maybe trying to take it off of like a 10 and 20, kind of coming down and pushing the Qs down here going forward sometime over the next like week or so. Anyways, that's maybe about how I would look to possibly play that. That would give you a little bit more room if you're going to look to play it down to that 100. So not as big a pocket in there right now. SPY has a little bit of a bigger pocket between that 50 and that 100. It's about how I'd look to do the Qs as far as the SPY here. Yeah, we're kind of close to that 50 EMA. I mean, if we have a close, maybe we don't make any more lows of the day. Maybe we do see a little afternoon quick rollover, little drop, and then we bounce off that 50 EMA by the end of the day, which probably makes sense. Maybe see some settle out here over the next hour or two, and then see a quick afternoon drop and then a bounce. Probably makes sense. But I would want to see some consolidation. If we made a run back up to the 10 and 20, that would be an interesting possibility to take that bearish there also on the SPY. I think that would be pretty decent. As far as the big earnings that we got, Microsoft, which was actually doing pretty good in the after hours trading yesterday. They did initially pop, but as people got further into earnings, and it's like, man, y'all are spending a lot of money on this AI stuff. It's still one of those things that there's a lot of capital kind of going into that. So yeah, that's how people took Microsoft earnings. Meta, same kind of deal. There's a lot of spending there. It's a little bit more prevalent there on the Meta side than it was Microsoft initially. But yeah, anyways, Meta getting hit with a little bit of that drop off today as well. That did actually then percolate over to Alphabet a little bit, which obviously did really good yesterday with its earnings the day before. Not nearly as bad, but people are still like, y'all are spending a lot of money on this AI stuff. We're not exactly seeing the high returns in revenue and cash from operations that investors were really wanting to see. I guess is the main issue, right? Once you kind of have that bar of expectations, you got to meet the bar of expectations. The VIX. So we kind of talked about this over the past like week, about a week. It had a nice little base here, looking like we were going to be pushing higher. Hadn't happened. It was still holding somewhat strong. Started to move a little bit higher back last Friday. Moved a little bit higher yesterday, and then kind of got the nice little pop today. So as far as the VIX, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes higher. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not Monday, but we might see a little bit of a settle out here in the next couple of days, and then maybe it pops higher next week. Be curious to see if that kind of is the way it plays out. I know AAPL, Amazon, will be up today after the bell. So I'm also not going to hold my breath if it keeps going higher today, as investors maybe brace for that one, and then possibly even tomorrow as well. DXY dollar index, nice little consolidation here over the past couple days. Kind of been expecting that. Got nothing here off the 10 EMA. I'd say it's bouncing. It's looking pretty good. It's getting some strength here. There you go. GLT Gold Trust, which has been moving pretty good here over the past couple of weeks. Nice little pullback today, and I got nothing else. Yeah, might set in for a little bit lower move here over the next few days. That's a pretty good drop today. I would imagine we probably have a short term pullback. 10-year yields continuing to push a little bit higher. Okay. As for now, yeah. I mean, if they get above this high that we put in on Tuesday, we'll probably just keep going for a little bit. The 10 and 2 inversion, kind of not doing a whole lot. Still just holding above the zero line. Yeah, not really doing a whole lot. As far as the HYG, high yield corporate bonds dropping off today. Yields are up. So, okay, that makes sense. Looking pretty good on some of these rollovers, some of these quick, snappy retests that we've had over the past day or two. LQD dropped off as well from its quick little retest. TLT dropping off from its quick little retest. So some of these are pushing lower. The one that's kind of an interesting one is TLT. It's not nearly as low as, the LQD and HYG as far as the low that it was put in on Tuesday. So seeing a little bit more strength here on the TLT, which kind of like it for a possible bullish pop, a little bit more of a higher retest, which is definitely something I've been looking for, probably up into these highs that we had put in up around 94 to 95 or so. Kind of makes sense. All right, as far as sector rotation on the day, tech, big underperformer, makes perfect sense. Seeing that with the Qs. Discretionary is doing pretty good, I guess. I mean, they're down pretty good, but they are outperforming the SP 500. Industrials as well. Financials, materials, real estate outperforming a little bit there. Healthcare, communications outperforming. Staples doing pretty good on the day. Energies and utilities doing really nice on the day. I know utilities get hit pretty good sometime over the past week, and I think it was just a solid buying opportunity. Honestly, I would just keep buying utilities. I think they are. I think utilities are getting more locked into future cash flow from this AI build out. So utilities, I think, is just super solid spot to get into. As far as intraday price action, utilities doing pretty good there intraday. Real estate, staples doing pretty good. Healthcare, all doing pretty good. Energy's doing pretty good. Okay. Materials, industrials, financials outperforming a little bit. Communications kind of in line with the market there. Discretionaries and tech at the lower end of the intraday.